So here's where we got to camp last night, next to this little creek. Little being gigantic, this thing's huge. Let me show you where we ended up camping. Wow, there's just so much moss out here on everything. It's just so wet. I'm Danny, aka Topless. I'm hiking the Pacific Crest Trail from Mexico to Canada. I'm 2,545 miles in, which means I've got like 105 miles to go. Today, I think we're doing about 23 miles and setting up camp so that we can do like maybe 5 miles and go do our resupply tomorrow. It's been rough. The rain yesterday was just enough to keep you soaked all day. I was able to keep a lot of stuff dry because I'm lucky enough to have this cape that covers me and my pack. And I put it on before I got wet. That's a big deal. I have messed that up before. I've got a tent. It's a Z-Pax duplex. It's got what's called a floating floor, which means you put your poles in the ground, you stake everything up, and the tent basically hangs from the top. Like those old-fashioned tents you imagine with the A shape. And everything hangs from that. So when the tent is empty and staked down and all up, you can just lift the floor right off the ground. Because of that, you can also stick things under it. So last night, while it was raining, I was able to get my Tyvek down, get my pack off and on the Tyvek, and then pull out my tent, just throw it over everything, then stake it down. So my pack stayed dry yesterday, even when I got to the site to put up my tent, which was a really, really nice thing to have. It was really nice to get into a dry tent and have all my stuff dry as well. Alternatively, you could get to a site, put your pack down in the mud, set up your tent, start putting things in your tent, get a bunch of mud in your tent. Like, it can be the opposite. It could be a nightmare. So I lucked out with the order of things yesterday. To try and keep all my dry stuff dry, today I've got my wet tent on the outside of my pack. Hopefully, these packs are not waterproof. Basically, they will absorb water and things inside will get wet. And that's not as bad as the fact that water is heavy. So a wet pack weighs a lot more than a dry pack. So having that on top of my pack means I'm not getting everything inside all wet, but does mean I'm getting the top of the pack wet and it is absorbing water and it will go through. So on the very top of my pack on the inside is my raincoat. So it'll protect everything below it from getting wet, because as I said yesterday, my pack liner ripped yesterday. So fun how all these little details add up to interesting problems that need to be solved. Also, another fun problem, I have exactly enough food for today and like a little bit of breakfast tomorrow. So I pretty much had no choice this morning but to get up and get moving, even though everything's wet, even though it's kind of cold out here, and just go, because I must do my 23-ish miles today and my 5 miles tomorrow morning to get my resupply before I run out of food. So, which is a good thing. I packed my food perfectly and it left me no choice but to get up and get moving. So this is how it goes sometimes. There's a massive tree that fell over the trail. So you climb up along next to it. Up there, up there, up there. climb on this to get on top of the tree to start going down to get back to the trail, which is here. Here's another look at that. That tree is like 4 feet wide. Look at it compared to these other trees. That tree, that little tree in the center is maybe a foot wide, maybe, yeah, about a foot wide. Holy cow. Here's another one. There was a bunch of these yesterday, but I couldn't bring the camera out with it raining. But this thing is humongous. And now I gotta figure out how to get across it. Okay, so it looks like it's gonna be walk up this log. Switch hands. I got firm grip on something. So let's see here. So it looks like we're gonna be walking across all that. So let's see. Up here. Where are we? Yeah, it looks like I can walk down here and walk across all this debris. Or I might be able to just kind of hop down from here. No, that's too far. I'm not hopping with a pack on. Okay, down, 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 down. I wish there was more handholds. Yeah, it's pretty massive. So that is a good example of what I was doing yesterday, what I will probably do today. That's not like an exaggerated example. That's a middle of the road. I'm probably gonna do that 10 times today. And I'll probably do 20 that are smaller and 5 that are bigger. Oh, it's nice when trail maintenance gets here before me. This thing, let me see here. I'm gonna stand up against it. So it's like right in the middle of my chest here. That's how tall it is. So that would put it at, what, 4 foot tall? Or I guess wide, I should say. Oh wow, look at the other side. Ready? Check out these roots. So that's not the first one I saw that looked like that, where you could see all the roots. I think what happens is the ground gets so moist because I'm on a mountain basically, and it's constantly wet here. And I think the roots just start to lift and break. And once they start, they just kind of snowball, and the whole tree just falls over, roots and all. That's not the first one I've seen. I've probably seen at least 10 of those. I just looked at the elevation map and realized today is going to be a lot like yesterday. It's a 3,000 foot climb in about 8 miles, followed by going right back down the other side. Wonder what it looks like from over here. Wow. This is going to be incredible. So it looks like people have beat a path this way. Oh, yeah. Oh wow, here's a good look at what happened. Oh, this mountain, pretty sweet. Okay, back to this path. Let's see here. Oh man, I thought I filmed that whole thing. That was complicated. But apparently I bumped one of the buttons on the phone, which automatically starts and stops the video, which is a pain in the butt. I don't know why they do that. So we missed it. Sorry guys. This valley is so vast. And it rolls right up into these mountains here. And snow. I stopped for lunch because I was just getting hungry, and I found a sun spot. Basically, I just got to spread out all my stuff, so I got to dry out my tent, my rain cape, what else? My sleeping bag. That was a big deal, and got to put on a nice dry pair of socks. That was nice. I ate lunch with Nemo and what's his name? Slenderman passed us as well. Turns out, of course, the group decided, well, we could save 5 miles for tomorrow morning, or we could just push today and get into town tonight. So they're pushing today to get into town tonight. Slenderman was saying that there is a 6 o'clock shuttle from the trailhead, I guess, or something like that, into town. And when they were telling me this, it was noon, and it was 20 miles to town, or 20 miles to the trailhead. And that's really not something that's feasible for me. I already did like 8 miles by that point. And I'm cool with a 28-mile day. I just got to start earlier in the morning and end later than 6 o'clock. So I'm picking up the pace a little bit, see how far I can get. But it sounds like half the group or more are trying to get into town today. And there might be a few stragglers like me who sleep on the trail tonight and get in there tomorrow morning. My food basically ends tomorrow morning, so after that I gotta be in town. Here's a pretty big river crossing. Looks like I'm gonna be walking across that log and then across that log. Let's do it. I really want to do it with the phone in my hand, but I can't also hold both my trekking poles. Oh well. Well, here's a little bit of it. Alright, so the group, the circus, is catching a 6:15 bus from the trailhead into Stehekin at 6, I just said 6:15. And right now it is 6:15 and I'm 1.5 miles away from the trailhead. So I just missed it. It's gonna take me probably another 40 minutes, half hour to get there. And so I guess I'm just gonna be hitching into town. I'm excited though, because if I get there before 7, it'll be daylight. It's a lot easier to hitch in daylight. And I could really go for a nice hot dinner. Okay, I made it to the trailhead, and like I predicted, it's 6:45. So it looks like I might just be walking this road. Let's get started. Hopefully we can get a hitch, but who knows who's gonna come through here. Well, there's a pretty nifty camping area here. Like, there's buildings and stuff, and a random car. That's a good sign. I just looked at a map and made it look like this road goes all the way to Stehekin, but it's 11 miles. My legs are tired. I've done like 27 miles today. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep walking. I'm guessing I'll run into a busier road maybe, even though it drew a line with just this road all the way to Stehekin. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. This creek that runs right next to the road is pretty awesome. Rapids right there and then smooth right here. It's been a half an hour, no cars, but I just hit a paved road. That's making things look up, I guess. The sun is setting. A minute ago, all these clouds were orange, but they're not anymore. So that means the sun's probably already down. It's gonna get cold soon. This is not what I meant when I said adventure. I see the white bus, which was mentioned as the bus that makes the routes, that makes the route at 6:15 that I missed. So I wonder what's over there. There's like a house over here with some lights on. And there's another house over here. Well, we're gonna find out. This backdrop is awesome. Holy cow. I just bumped into somebody named Wildflower. She said this way was the main area and to go ask around there.
Did you just get off trail?
I literally just walked up the driveway.
Wow.
All right, so one of the staff was actually nice enough to offer me his plate of food. That's why I got food. I don't know if I can get any lighting. Nope. And since he offered me his plate, I almost didn't have to pay for it, but I ended up paying $27 for a plate of food, which was worth every penny. I don't know how I'm gonna find any hikers in this area because I can't see anything and nothing's lit. And I might just be walking back to the trailhead for another hour to pitch a tent because they won't let me pitch a tent here, and catch a bus in the morning, I guess. So adventure continues. All right, so the camera can't pick up my face in the dark, so you're gonna get the road for a second here. So it's about 8 o'clock. I can't find any of the PCT hikers. Well, I found a few, but I haven't been able to, I don't know any of them. So they didn't exactly invite me into their cabin. And the place is totally booked, so I couldn't rent a room. So right now, I can either walk the 9 miles to town, or I can walk I think he said 2.5 miles back up to where I was, and there's a campsite there, and I can catch the bus in the morning. But what I also noticed was there's a bus. There's a red bus and a white bus. The white bus works with this campground area, cabiny thing. And I think the red bus is the one that goes to town. So I think I'm gonna walk back towards the trailhead. And okay, I just checked the bus schedule. And this red bus, it looks like it picks up at 9:15 a.m. at the trailhead. But the next bus back to the trailhead is not until 5 p.m., which seems ridiculous. So, and in town, I need to charge my electronics and do a resupply. So I think I'm literally just gonna, this paved road is about to turn into a dirt road again. And I'm gonna just throw up a tent, and then tomorrow I'm gonna start walking towards town and hitch in, and hopefully just not rely on this bus thing at all. If not, worst case scenario, it's 9 miles into town, plus however much I'm walking back right now. All right, I found a spot next to a tree just off the road, 5 minutes up from that cabiny thing with the restaurant. So I'm just gonna clear these sticks and set up here. Well, I found a place to sleep for the night. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm debating about going back to those cabins and seeing if I can get breakfast too. Good night.